Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. We are coming off Smackdown Live, the go-home edition of Smackdown Live prior to the 2018 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. The cat is in the background, so I'm sure to get ratings right off the bat here. We're off to a good start. The cat is my assistant here, helping me bring up the numbers for NoDQ Live, because I am up against the Mixed Match Challenge, which is going on right now. I actually have it on my computer screen as I'm doing this video. We have Big E and Carmella against The Miz and Asuka. Now, The Miz and Asuka, they were my pick to win the Mixed Match Challenge. So we'll see what happens here in this match. It's the Costanza says the video quality looks like a Nintendo 64 video game. Right on. I'm so thrilled to hear that. Video is blurry. Why is the video blurry? Okay, 1 second, guys. Time out. Video was blurry. It should be better now. If it's still blurry, then we're out of luck here. It's going to be Nintendo 64 edition of NoDQ Live. Somebody said it's much better, so good. Anyways, let's talk about SmackDown Live. I thought it was a decent show. I'm still not all that invested in the Royal Rumble. I feel like the build-up was okay, but where were the storylines for this show? I mean, I felt like it was just very standard as far as the build-up goes for the pay-per-view. Cindy says it was eh. Braden says, I did not get the main event. Did you not get the main event, meaning you did not see it or you just did not understand it? I'm sorry, guys, about the video. Not really sure. I'm going to try one more thing. If that doesn't work, I'm out of options here. Be right back. SmackDown Live before I lose all the live viewers. People are saying it's better. I do not have 56K. I have the most expensive Wi-Fi that Xfinity offers. And I never have problems. It's crystal clear watching the WWE Network, watching Sling TV, so I'm not sure why. I think it's something with YouTube, because my internet is always working perfectly. Very fast uploads, very fast downloads. I have no idea what's going on, but let's get back to SmackDown Live. You had the show open with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They cut their promo hyping up the Royal Rumble, that the Yep movement was going to prevail at the Rumble. AJ Styles came out and basically said, nope, nope to the Yep movement. And that's basically the buildup we had here. They showed footage, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn showed footage of AJ Styles, basically saying he could beat both of them back to back. So that was the build for this show. We had AJ Styles facing first Kevin Owens and then Sami Zayn in back-to-back matches. I figured this would end with AJ winning one of the matches, winning the first match, and then losing the second match. As it turns out, I was a little bit surprised in the sense that it was Kevin Owens who took the fall. When they first announced this match, I figured, okay, AJ Styles will beat Sami Zayn, and then Kevin Owens will beat AJ Styles, but it was the opposite. Now, this could be because of the fact that Kevin Owens was recently injured and WWE wanted to keep his physicality at a minimal until the pay-per-view, and that's why Owens tapped out with the calf crusher right away and basically sold a knee injury on the outside of the ring for 10-15 minutes. Basically, the entire last half hour or a quarter of the show was dedicated to AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens in the short match, and then AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn in the longer match. And then if you want to include the beginning promo, basically 45 minutes of this show was AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn, which I guess is fine if it's the WWE title feud, but still, it felt like it was just dragged out. You know, it's not like they had an interesting storyline that was progressing as the show went on. I just felt like it was more time filler than actually developing an intriguing storyline for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Travis W. says those medics sucked. Good thing it was just a bad knee. Brian Bove says Royal Rumble better be a good show. I hope so too. Hamp says, what's the stipulation for 400 live viewers? I never came up with one, so I guess there is no stipulation. Unless you guys can come up with something interesting that I can do on video, maybe I'll do something. Who knows? Braden says, I actually liked the Baron Corbin Shinsuke Nakamura match. I actually agree with you on that. I thought that was the highlight of the show. I did enjoy the match. I really liked the clothesline that Corbin hit on Nakamura with Nakamura doing the flip midair. That was great. That looked really cool. And I liked the RKO out of nowhere from Randy Orton to set up the Royal Rumble match. I thought that was well done. I did enjoy that. I thought that was the highlight of the show. TK left a $2 super chat donation, and we just had a tap out. Asuka tapped out Carmella, so Asuka and The Miz advance in the mixed match challenge. There you go. They're my pick to win it all. There you go. TK says, can Owens and Zayn just go away a bit? It's getting old. I actually like I like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I like the routine. I just wish WWE had a more intriguing storyline for these guys. I feel like it's a very flat storyline, and it's more about Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. Basically, Owens and Zayn are like the bit players here. I am going to talk more about Enzo in a few minutes here. There has been some more news regarding Enzo Amore, so stay tuned for that. I will talk about Enzo in a few minutes here, and of course, there are more updates over on NoDQ.com if you're up for checking that out. As Michael Wayne said, the RKO out of nowhere was very well done. I agree on that. It's the Costanza says the N64 quality is back. Nothing I can do about it. I tried 4G, I tried Wi-Fi. There's nothing else I can really do. So, I mean, that's the downside to doing these live videos. Sometimes the video quality is really choppy, and I don't know why. YouTube is the new Botchamania. I pretty much agree on that. I see a bunch of people on here talking about the Royal Rumble and who might win the match at this point. There was no Dolph Ziggler on this show. I still have a little bit of hope that maybe Ziggler will win. I don't think it's going to be Daniel Bryan winning or even entering the Royal Rumble 410. I think that's a pipe dream. That's why I'm putting my eyebrows on the line. If Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble, I will shave off my eyebrows. But I don't think that's going to happen. Highly unlikely in all likelihood. I will see it when I believe it. Hamp Connell just sent in a $2 super chat donation. Member Nintendo 64? Member Aaron? Oh, I remember. I love Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64 was a big part of my childhood. And, of course, to put this in a WWE spin, you had No Mercy, you had WCW NWO Revenge, you had WrestleMania 2000. Great games on the Nintendo 64. Arguably, No Mercy was the best WWE game of all time. Brian says, I'm taking Shin to win. So here's the thing. To steal a line from Jeff Meacham, if Shin wins the Royal Rumble, or Finn Balor wins, or if Dolph Ziggler wins, I will shave my head and keep the beard. I will have the Triple H look, I guess is what people are calling it. That's what I will do. That's my stipulation for the Royal Rumble. The fact that Ziggler was not on the show and hasn't been seen since he gave up the U.S. title leads me to think there might be a small possibility of Ziggler winning. Now, of course, I think the smart money would be on Roman Reigns to win or John Cena to win. I'm still not convinced that it's going to be a fresh face winning the Rumble this year. Interstate Kyle is here, the toe that runs the show. So he's embracing his Mr. Toenail moniker. Let's talk about some more from SmackDown. We had a 6-man tag team match. We had the New Day teaming up with the new United States champion, Bobby Roode, to take on the team of Rusev, Aiden English, and Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal was pretty much an afterthought by this point. I mean, it felt like he was just there. And, of course, New Day and Bobby Roode won. Aiden English ate the pinfall. At least it wasn't Rusev this week, but I gotta say, the crowd was not into Rusev. They were chanting for New Day. They were chanting for Bobby Roode. No Rusev Day chants. Now, it was Washington, D.C. It wasn't Philadelphia or New York. Psycho Jet Black, no, I don't think Jinder Mahal is winning the Royal Rumble. If he does, I might just completely lose my mind if Jinder Mahal won the Royal Rumble. I would say that is very unlikely. Very Calm Man says, favorite System of a Down song. You can ask me that on Twitter. I'll be happy to answer. I have a lot of them, so ask me on there. I want to keep this wrestling because if I... Wait a minute, Daniel Bryan's talking on 205 Live. I want to see what he says here. Big update on the Cruiserweight division. Apparently there's going to be a general manager for the Cruiserweight division. Untapped potential for the 205 Live superstars. I'm watching Daniel Bryan's little speech right now. A 205 general manager will be named. Yes, I know, Virtue, dead air. I don't care. Who do you guys think will be the 205 Live general manager? I don't think a general manager is really going to help 205 Live at this point. So yeah, that was pretty much the announcement. There's going to be a 205 Live general manager. Maybe it'll be Goldust. Who knows? Gregory Helm says Jeremiah Dorset. Tony H says Big Cass LOL. There you go. Eugene says Neville. A bunch of people are saying Goldust in here, so nobody's really taking this very seriously. Josh Curry says, I missed SmackDown. How was it? Very average. I mean, nothing to it, really. I'm not all that more excited about the Royal Rumble. Actually, I'm not really any more excited for the Royal Rumble than I was before. By the way, we're over 200 live viewers, which is pretty good for a Tuesday night. Let's talk about Enzo Amore. Actually, before Enzo Amore, the only other match that I can recall from SmackDown Live that I haven't addressed yet, the women's match. We had Naomi versus Liv Morgan. Naomi won. You had Becky Lynch come out and tease a confrontation with Naomi, and then Charlotte came out, and that was the segment. So in a way, I thought it was okay because it wasn't like one person looked stronger. You had 3 or 4 potential strong contenders with Naomi in there and Becky Lynch in there. And yeah, Becky looked strong. I thought it was an okay segment. I mean, not great, but it was okay. And that was pretty much SmackDown. I mean, I think I pretty much covered everything from the show. Let's talk about Enzo Amore. So there has been some new developments in the Enzo Amore story. His accuser went on TMZ, did a video interview, talked about the incident. And then a few hours after that, this guy who doesn't even look like he's 18, he looks like a teenager, he went on YouTube, and apparently he's been friends with this woman for a year and a half, 2 years, and they've done videos together. If you go on the YouTube channels, his channel and her channel, you can see them interacting with each other. So they're clearly friends. He does this video. He says Enzo Amore is innocent, and he showed text messages of her texting a friend and basically saying that, bragging about having sex with Enzo Amore. Whether these text messages are legit or not, I mean, I think we have to let the police and the court system figure this out. Let them do their jobs. I think us speculating about it, it's a bit silly. I actually lost some brain cells watching that video and just trying to figure out what is going on here. This whole situation is so bizarre. I mean, I don't even know what to make of it. It doesn't even feel like real life. I mean, it feels like a soap opera coming to life here. But unfortunately, a guy has lost his job because of this situation. Who knows what's going to happen? Enzo, by the way, did release a statement through his legal reps on Twitter. There was a statement. Enzo is denying the charges, denying the accusations. He actually hasn't been charged yet with anything. He's denying the accusations. And that's the current update now. So Enzo's denying it. There's a guy on YouTube claiming that Enzo is innocent. And, you know, it is like some kind of wacky soap opera come to life here. Everyone's going to have their own opinions about it, their own theories. But again, I feel like the police and the legal system, they should be the people that figure all this out. That's what they're paid to do. That's their jobs. And we'll see what happens with it. I mean, it's certainly interesting, that's for sure. Now, a question that Mike D is asking me, do you think WWE would re-sign Enzo if he's found innocent? That's a great question, because if Enzo was fired for not notifying WWE about the investigation, then I can understand WWE's perspective. Like I said on the video earlier today, they might feel he's too much trouble, and they might not want to do business with him because they feel that he's a loose cannon and he's getting himself into trouble. You know, I've seen some people make the comments about Enzo being stupid, even if he's innocent, for him to get involved in this situation in the first place. It shouldn't have ever happened. So I'm seeing a lot of people feeling that his bad behavior and his bad decisions have gotten him in trouble, whether he's innocent or not. And WWE might not want to work with him because they feel like he's too much of a loose cannon. And if there's some kind of proof that he's been doing drugs or whatever, WWE just might not want this bad publicity. Remember, they're a publicly traded company, and they don't want to have a guy working for them that's in this kind of trouble. Maybe someday they will bring him back, though. You know, stranger things have happened. And I did mention earlier, you know, WWE put Mike Tyson in the Hall of Fame, a guy who was a convicted rapist. They put him into the Hall of Fame. So I'm not going to rule out that WWE might bring back Enzo if he's cleared of everything. It could certainly happen. It might not happen right away, but I think there's a possibility, and nothing could be ruled out for sure. Anyways, that is the very latest regarding Enzo Amore. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest regarding the Enzo Amore situation and what's going on with that. He could always end up in Impact Wrestling. You know, they're always looking for somebody to try and help boost their ratings. We'll see what happens. That's really all I have to say about it. There's nothing else to say at this point. Sorry, Brother Nero, that's not going to work. Hamp Connell just left a $2 super chat donation. Did you play I just screwed that up. Did you play ECW Hardcore Revolution or WWF Attitude? I never played the ECW game, but I did play the WWF Attitude and the WWF Warzone game on Nintendo 64, and I did like those games. Not quite as good as THQ. I thought THQ really put out superior wrestling video games, starting with WCW versus NWO World Tour, all the way up through Day of Reckoning 1. I wasn't a big fan of Day of Reckoning 2. I feel like they took something that was working and they broke it. But Day of Reckoning 1 was great. AKI, man, I remember him. He was great. I played him all the time. So yeah, I really enjoyed the THQ games, and that was a great period growing up as a teenager playing those video games. 205 Live GM to be named next week. I've seen people speculating about that, but I don't think it's going to help 205 Live. If that's WWE's way of trying to get people interested in the brand again, I don't think it's going to work. I mean, who could they really put as the 205 Live GM that would get people interested? I mean, go ahead, guys. Throw a realistic name that could potentially get you more interested. I'm curious. Not a joke name like Hornswoggle or Gregory Helms. Who is somebody that could seriously be the general manager and get you interested in watching? A couple of people here say Rey Mysterio. Here's the thing about Rey Mysterio. Wouldn't you rather see Rey Mysterio wrestle? What value do you have in Rey Mysterio being a GM? And the thing is, the GM has to talk, and Rey's never really been a great promo. Kayfabe Candy Ass says no one really. Cindy says MVP or Christian. MVP might be decent. Christian might be decent. I mean, I think those are okay choices. Offman Rules just left a $5 super chat donation. Does WWE really have the balls to have Roman Reigns win again in Philadelphia? I would say yes. I'm not ruling anything out. I still have this suspicion that Roman Reigns is going to win. Yes, you have the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and Reigns could win that match to get the #1 contendership. I'm really torn. I mean, I feel like Reigns is not going to win it, and he'll win Elimination Chamber to get the #1 contendership. John Cena, I could see winning because John Cena is not scheduled for the WWE title match. Right now, it's still scheduled as a Fatal 5-Way match. AJ Styles defending against Owens, Zayn, Orton, and Nakamura. And John Cena could just be on the sidelines facing the winner of that match at WrestleMania. But then again, there's been the talk about John Cena and Undertaker. However, there was no setup for that on Raw. So I could still see John Cena winning. I still have to go with Roman Reigns or John Cena as my Royal Rumble picks, but I'm sure I'll be talking about this with NoDQ Virtue. And speaking of Virtue, he's here in the chat room. He says Shawn Michaels as the 205 Live GM. What do you guys think about that? Do you like that idea of Shawn Michaels being the GM? I think that might be interesting, but would Shawn Michaels really be committed to doing that, being on television every single week? That I don't know. I mean, he's already done it, been there, done it, and quite frankly, I feel like he's happily retired and doesn't even want to do a small role like a GM. The Relaxing Noob just sent in a $5 super chat donation. Thank you for that. Can't stick around going to the basketball practice. See you, Aaron. Have fun with your basketball practice, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the super chat donation. A couple of people are mentioning X-Pac as a Cruiserweight GM. I like that. Again, would Sean Waltman really want to commit to doing something like that every week? That I don't know. But I think that would be interesting. A few more people have mentioned Rockstar Spud as a possibility. The thing is, I mean, wouldn't Rockstar Spud be wrestling in WWE? Again, I think the GM would be somebody who's not wrestling, but somebody who has some name value that might actually get people interested in watching 205 Live. Tony H says Taz. The thing is, Taz was never really a cruiserweight, but I mean, I like the Hurricane as an option, but again, I don't think the Hurricane is going to move numbers. I'm looking for a name that would move numbers, if that's even possible. Move numbers, was part of the Cruiserweights at one point, had the Cruiserweight title, and somebody who can cut good promos. So who really fits all that criteria? Rey Mysterio can't really cut the promos, and I think people would want to see him wrestle anyways if he came back to WWE. And now we got some joke responses in here. Gilberg. It's not going to be Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho doing it, I think, would be a waste of Chris Jericho, quite frankly. A few people have mentioned Chavo Guerrero and Dean Malenko. I've seen a Jamie Noble in here. So I don't know if any of those names would really help. I think the best name mentioned on here was probably X-Pac or Sean Waltman. They're the same person. I met Shawn Michaels. X-Pac or Shawn Michaels. If Shawn Michaels was interested in doing it and was committed to doing it, I think he would be a great choice. Or Christian. Actually, I really like Christian as a choice. Even though, was Christian ever the Cruiserweight champion or light heavyweight champion? I'm not even sure off the top of my head. I'm not Greg Cherry here. I don't know off the top of my head. Right Tackle 52 says, why no pyro for the 25th anniversary of Raw? Same reason there hasn't been pyro for months, because WWE feels it's obsolete. It's not necessary to get the story across. It's not necessary for the show, which of course I disagree with. I feel like pyro was a big part of the show and should still be in WWE's budget. But hey, that's just one person's opinion. What do I know? I think they will have pyro for WrestleMania. I would be surprised if there's no pyro for WrestleMania. It is the one big show of the year where I feel WWE will do pyro. I mean, the thing is, as Tony H mentions, if there's no pyro for WrestleMania, I'll be mad. The thing about that is, at WrestleMania, WWE likes to show the clips of the stadium with the pyro going off, and it's not nearly as interesting if you show a stadium with no pyro. I would think if you're going to do it, because WWE uses the footage from WrestleMania on their television shows all the time, every single show, if you go to a live event, they always show clips from WrestleMania. So I think WrestleMania is the one exception where they will do pyro. Hamp Connell just sent in another $2 Super Chat donation. Thank you, Hamp. You're awesome tonight. What about Billy Kidman as general manager? I think same thing applies to some of the other guys in a sense that he wasn't really a big enough name and he wasn't really a good enough promo, I think, to really fit in that role. That's just my take on it, though. Again, I think you need somebody who can cut a great promo, who had some name value, who is in the Cruiserweight division, and could potentially move numbers for 205 Live. I don't know if anybody really fits all that criteria. If you guys could think of a great name that hasn't been mentioned, I'm very curious to hear it. I think Christian would be the closest thing, now that I think about it. Offman Rules just left a $2 Super Chat donation. Pyro, when the Royal Rumble winner points to the Mania sign. Interesting, because WWE has done that every year. I'm curious now to see if WWE does, in fact, do pyro for the Royal Rumble winner, since that is leading up to WrestleMania, and Royal Rumble is arguably the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Brian Montgomery says Asuka's winning at the Rumble. Gotta assume a SmackDown guy is winning. I'm not so convinced Asuka's winning the Royal Rumble. Just because she looked so strong on Raw, I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious that she'll actually win the Rumble. I think she should, but maybe if it's not Asuka, I think it should be Ronda Rousey. If Ronda Rousey's not going to be in it as a surprise, I think it should definitely 100% be Asuka. We'll see what happens. Braden says not necessarily about a SmackDown guy winning the Rumble, since they're having a fatal five-way at Fastlane, so it doesn't have to be a SmackDown guy. And that's right. I mean, Cena would be my obvious pick, but the thing is, there's still the talk about Cena facing Undertaker. In that case, John Cena is not going to be winning the Rumble. My pick, I'm going to save it for you guys until I do the predictions video. I'm leaning towards Reigns, though, as the winner. Again, if Dolph Ziggler wins, or Finn Balor, or Shinsuke Nakamura, I will shave my head, keep the beard. If Daniel Bryan comes out of retirement and wins the Rumble, I will shave my eyebrows. That's my little stipulation. Anthony says Randy Orton. Randy Orton is in the Fatal 5-Way match. That's why I don't think he's going to win, and why I don't think Nakamura is going to win, since they're currently advertised for that match, unless that match is some sort of swerve. But I don't think the arena would falsely advertise a pay-per-view match like that. It's not a house show. Some people are saying, well, it's card subject to change. This is a pay-per-view. This is not a house show or even a TV taping. This is a pay-per-view event where you're charging a lot of money for tickets. You're advertising a WWE title match with 5 people. If you don't deliver that, that is going to potentially result in losing some customers. I mean, you want to be honest with the fans, and you don't want to swerve them. It's always possible it is a swerve, and WWE is purposely leaking out that match to the arena to throw everybody off. But the fact that that match is being advertised makes me think Orton's not winning and Nakamura's not winning. So it's really interesting, because I think that narrows it down very much. I think Dolph Ziggler has a realistic chance. If I was going to make a pick out of the 3 guys, Nakamura, Balor, and Ziggler, I'd go with Ziggler, since he hasn't been on television, and that would be the big surprise. Dolph Ziggler versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Dolph finally gets his WWE title match at WrestleMania, even though it would be like the 3rd most important match after Cena versus Undertaker and Reigns versus Lesnar. Brother Nero says Elias is winning, and Leo says don't hinder the Jinder. Are we still doing that? Are we still doing don't hinder the Jinder? Really? Drew Gulak is nominating for GM. That would be entertaining, actually. I would be fine with that, but I think WWE will... Well, I don't know what they're going to do, actually. I really don't know. I feel like this is a desperate attempt to try and boost up viewership for 205 Live rather than just try to be creative and come up with some new storylines. They're like, hey, we'll just have a GM on 205 Live and that'll boost up the numbers. That'll get everybody watching and caring about 205 Live again. We'll see. We'll see if WWE can actually deliver and do something significant. It's the Costanza says, what happened to the WrestleMania 35 location news? I would suspect that we will know fairly soon. I mean, it's been heavily rumored to be in New York. However, there was no announcement this week, which makes me think it's not New York. There's also been Philadelphia, and Royal Rumble is this Sunday. So if something's announced on Sunday, it very well could be Philadelphia. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Well, not really that interesting for me because unless it's in LA or Las Vegas, I'm not going. I will be staying on the West Coast watching WrestleMania in the comfort of my own home. Brother Nero, is Samoa Joe missing the Royal Rumble? He will not be in the Royal Rumble match. However, he will be on the NXT kickoff panel, so he will be in town. I don't think he's going to be getting physically involved at the Royal Rumble though, but he might do the Rumble kickoff. I know he's doing the NXT one for sure, so he'll be around, but I don't see him doing anything physically in the ring or anything like that. Stab Studios sent in a $2 super chat donation. What's the best intro music from Raw and SmackDown? I'm just going to go with an easy answer and say The Beautiful People for both. But beyond that, I really liked the song that was used, Thorn in Your Eye, in 97, 98, and then the remix of it from 98. I think they used it through 2002, right until the brand extension. That was probably my favorite one, Thorn in Your Eye. We're all together now, whatever. They're very similar sounding songs. I did like Union Underground as well and Papa Roach. I mean, a lot of the Raw theme songs up until, I mean, don't shoot me, guys. I thought the Nickelback song was fine. Burn It to the Ground. I thought that was a fine song for Raw. The Raw song that I really didn't like, I mean, I liked most of them. The one song I really didn't like was Tonight Is the Night. I thought that was terrible. I thought that was by far the worst Raw theme song of all time. I hated that song. I thought it was very lackluster. The Nickelback song, I don't hate Nickelback. You guys might disown me for this. I think they're okay. I like a couple of their songs. I don't think they're terrible. But I do feel like the Raw songs, the quality has gradually gone down. Brie Mode is still worse than Burn It to the Ground. Now, as far as SmackDown goes, SmackDown. I did like The Beautiful People, as I mentioned. I like the Drowning Pool song. I did not like the Green Day song because I thought the Green Day song's okay as a song, but I felt like it did not fit SmackDown. Like, that music was way too mellow to be a theme song for this intense wrestling show. It was too poppy. I think Right Tackle 52 put it best. It was not a good choice, you know, for a SmackDown theme song. Interstate Kyle says, unless it's the Beatles, music is just okay to Aaron. That's actually not true. You guys can go on last.fm. I think it's /profile or something. Just search my name, Aaron Rift. You guys can find out what I listen to. And you could tell me if I have bad taste in music or not. But yeah, I really liked the ECW Drowning Pool song. That was a great choice for ECW. Drowning Pool, you know, that was a great song. Just for wrestling period. I know they used it during the Invasion and then they used it later on. Second City Entertainment sent in a $2 super chat donation. What happened to Rusev Day? Why did they give up on it? Because it wasn't meant to get over. You know, it's the typical situation where it was getting over organically, and it wasn't the corporate machine that was getting it over. So WWE's like, this wasn't our idea. We did not intend for Rusev Day to be this huge act and be something really popular with the fans. So they shot that shit down, as our good friend Negan might say. Michael Wynn says, because of Road Dogg shit. There you go. Perfect. Perfect response right there. Zachary says, are you going to be at WrestleMania? No. I will not be attending WrestleMania until it's either in LA or Las Vegas. I might be going to Money in the Bank, though, in Chicago, because I've never been to a WWE show at Allstate Arena, and that's something I've always wanted to do. So that is a possibility. That might be the furthest I'll ever travel for a WWE event. It's the Costanza says, Road Dogg is still drunk from Raw 25. Interstate Kyle says, I feel bad for that Vancouver for WrestleMania sign guy. As do I, because I realistically don't think that Vancouver's ever going to get a WrestleMania, unfortunately. WWE just doesn't like running in the Pacific Northwest. And they did that one WrestleMania for 19, and I think this part of the country, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, we'll be lucky if we ever get WrestleMania again. Curtis Butler says there will be a silver lining for Rusev Day. I mean, I'm sure the fans in Philly on Sunday will chant Rusev Day, and they'll be very loud for Rusev, but I feel like it's pretty much dead. It's pretty much labeled a lower card act. Rusev Day is not meant to be something special. Just like the Revival. They were humbled on Raw. They're an opening match act, and I don't see WWE pushing them as anything more than that. Maybe in 6 months we'll have the Revival doing skits with Fandango and Tyler Breeze. Right Tackle 52, could you see CM Punk ever returning? Yes, one day I think we will see CM Punk back in a WWE ring. It's just a matter of when. Anyway, guys, that will wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll see what happens tomorrow. If there's more breaking news, and I'll have to do another NoDQ Live, but I do plan on doing review videos for NXT and Royal Rumble this weekend. Predictions video for Royal Rumble coming up. Subscribe if you're watching this for the first time. Subscribe over at youtube.com/AaronRiffNoDQ. Tell a friend about NoDQ Live and NoDQ.com. Stay tuned to NoDQ for the very latest regarding Enzo Amore and all that drama. And I will see you guys next time.